June 14, 1944. Outside Carenton, Normandy. Rain has turned the dirt lanes into slick brown scars, and the hedgerows loom like walls, 10 feet high, dense with roots, earth, and centuries of neglect. Somewhere beyond them, a rifle cracks. Sharp. Precise. Final. Private First Class Eugene Keller, 29th Infantry Division, drops without a sound. His helmet spins once in the mud. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then the second shot comes. It punches into the hedgerow above 2nd Lieutenant Frank Wallace's head, showering him with bark and dirt. Wallace flattens instinctively, heart hammering so hard it drowns out everything else. The distant artillery, the rumble of trucks on the road behind them, even the shouted orders of his platoon sergeant. The Germans are watching. They always are. For days now, American riflemen pushing through Normandy have learned a brutal lesson. The enemy does not need machine guns to stop an advance. One man, one rifle, one well-hidden position is enough. German snipers, Scharfschützen, have turned the hedgerows into killing grounds. They fire once, sometimes twice, then vanish. They taunt the Americans by targeting radio men, officers, medics. Men who stand. Men who lead. Men who try to help. A laugh carries faintly through the leaves. Not loud. Just enough. Sergeant Tom Red Hanley clenches his jaw. He's heard it before. A low chuckle, drifting across the hedgerow like cigarette smoke. The Germans know exactly what they're doing. They want the Americans angry. Sloppy. Dead. Sir, Hanley mutters, crawling up beside Wallace, this ain't random, that's a pro. Wallace nods, pressing his cheek into the wet earth. He knows the type. German snipers are trained from youth. Hunters, foresters, farm boys who have been shooting since they could walk. Many carry the Carabiner 98, fitted with 4x scopes. They wait hours without moving. They fire only when they're sure. And worst of all, they know something the Germans have believed since 1941. The Americans can't match them. At least, that's what they think. The laughter comes again. Then another American falls. Private Louis Morneau, shot clean through the throat as he crawls to Keller's body. The platoon freezes. No one wants to move. Every rustle of leaves feels like a death sentence. Back in North Africa and Sicily, U.S., infantry learned to fear German snipers for good reason. American doctrine emphasized volume of fire, maneuver speed. Marksmanship mattered, but precision at 300 yards through concealment. That was supposed to be the Germans' game. Until recently. 100 miles to the west, in a muddy orchard near Saint-Thelo, another American unit is learning a different lesson. Corporal William Bill Hargreaves, 2nd Infantry Division, lies motionless beneath a camouflaged poncho. His breath is slow, measured. His finger rests lightly on the trigger of a rifle most men in the division have never seen up close. An M1C Garand. It looks like a standard semi-automatic Garand, but mounted to its left side is an offset M82 telescopic sight, snug in a Griffin and Howe mount. The scope isn't perfect. The eye relief is awkward. The field of view is narrow. But it works. Hargreaves peers through the glass. Across the hedgerow line, 250 yards away, something is wrong. A patch of leaves doesn't move with the wind. A shadow has edges too straight to be natural. He waits. German snipers are taught patience. American snipers are taught something else. Timing. The shadow shifts, just a fraction. Enough. Hargreaves exhales and squeezes. The Garand cracks, not the sharp snap of a bolt-action rifle, but the deeper, authoritative bark of semi-automatic fire. The recoil is firm but familiar. The scope jumps, then settles. Through the glass, Hargreaves sees the shadow collapse. A helmet rolls free. A rifle slips from unseen hands. For a long moment, nothing happens. Then shouting erupts from the German line. Angry. Confused. urgent. Because for the first time since Normandy began, a German sniper has been killed by a shot he never heard coming. Back near Cairnton, Lieutenant Wallace doesn't know any of this yet. All he knows is that the laughter has stopped. Minutes pass. Then 10. No more shots. The hedgerow is suddenly quiet. Too quiet. Hanley risks a glance over the earth. Nothing. No movement. No sound. "Sir," he whispers, "I think he pulled out." Wallace doesn't answer right away. His eyes are fixed on Keller's body, still lying where it fell. He knows better. German snipers don't retreat without reason. Unless something has changed. What Wallace and his men don't yet realize, what German marksmen across Normandy are only beginning to understand, is that the battlefield has shifted. The Americans are no longer just targets. They are hunters now. The silence near Cairnton does not last. It never does. At 618 hours, a single rifle shot cracks from the far hedgerow, different from before. Slower. Heavier. The sound of a bolt cycling follows, deliberate and controlled. The round slams into the dirt inches from Lieutenant Wallace's elbow. Hanley swears under his breath. "Different shooter," he mutters. "That wasn't the same bastard." Wallace feels it too. The rhythm is wrong. The Germans have rotated snipers. They always do. One man draws fire, probes reactions, then another takes over from a new angle. A method refined on the Eastern Front, now perfected in Normandy's green hell. But something else is different. The shot didn't come alone. A second crack follows, immediately. Too fast for a Carabiner 98, worked by bolt. The two reports overlap, almost echoing each other. Somewhere beyond the hedgerow, a German shouts in alarm. Hanley's eyes widen. "Sir, that was ours." Down the line, crawling through a drainage ditch slick with rainwater and blood, Staff Sergeant Harold Bennett shifts his weight and settles behind his rifle. He arrived only an hour ago, reassigned from Division Reserve with a canvas-wrapped case slung over his shoulder. Inside was something few men in the regiment had ever handled. An M1C sniper rifle, issued under orders so quiet they barely existed on paper. Bennett is not young. 34. An Iowa farm boy who grew up shooting crows off fence posts at distances most men wouldn't attempt with iron sights. At Camp Perry, his instructors noticed something different. Not speed, not aggression, but calm. A steadiness that didn't shake under pressure. Now in Normandy, that steadiness matters. Through his offset scope, Bennett scans a narrow lane of fire. The Germans are good, better than most Americans expected. Their camouflage is meticulous. Burlap, leaves, netting, sometimes even cow dung smeared onto helmets to kill the shine. But German doctrine has habits. They favor slightly elevated ground, tree lines, the shadowed side of hedgerows, and they trust one thing above all else, that the Americans cannot hit them back before they relocate. Bennett waits. A glint. Brief. Sunlight on glass. There. He adjusts half a mil and squeezes. The Garand fires, recoils, and before the echo fades, Bennett fires again. Reflex, trained, automatic. 2 rounds in under a second. The second shot punches into the same patch of foliage. A scream erupts from the German line. High, raw, unmistakably human. Then silence. Across the hedgerow, Jeff Raider Carl Weiss, 352nd Infantry Division, lies dying with blood bubbling through his lips. He never saw the American who killed him. Never heard the shot that mattered. He had been laughing less than a minute earlier. Word spreads quickly among the Germans. By noon, snipers along the Vire River are reporting something unsettling to their platoon leaders. Americans are engaging them from distance. Accurately. Repeatedly. And not with lucky shots, but with deliberate fire. One German report, scrawled hastily in a field notebook, reads, "Enemy rifle fire, unusually precise, appears to be optical-sighted semi-automatic weapon, That sentence matters. For 3 years, German snipers have enjoyed a technical and psychological edge. The Americans were loud, aggressive, sloppy with concealment, dangerous but predictable. Now something has shifted. In a ruined farmhouse outside Saint-Eloi, Oberleutnant Ernst Vogel, a veteran sniper instructor rotated back to the front, listens as 2 shaken soldiers describe what they've seen. He fired twice, one insists. No bolt, 2 shots fast. Vogel frowns. That should not be possible at that range with that accuracy. Not with American rifles. Unless. He thinks of intelligence briefings dismissed months earlier. Rumors of scoped Garands. Of American experiments with semi-automatic precision fire. At the time, no one took them seriously. Vogel stands and walks to the window, peering out at the hedgerows now lit by weak afternoon sun. He feels something he hasn't felt since Russia in 1942. Unease. Back near Cairnton, Lieutenant Wallace finally sees the proof with his own eyes. Bennett crawls up beside him, mud-streaked, face unreadable. He unhooks the scope cover and hands Wallace the rifle. "Sir," he says quietly, "you want to see where he was." Wallace peers through the glass. The world tightens, narrows. Details leap forward, the torn leaves, the crushed grass, the dark stains soaking into the soil. He swallows. That's a long way." Bennett nods. "Yes, sir." Hanley exhales a low whistle. Guess they ain't laughing anymore. They aren't. By nightfall, German snipers across the sector have gone silent, not repositioning, not probing. Waiting. Trying to understand what they are up against. Because for the first time since the war began, German marksmen are facing an enemy who can match them shot for shot, and sometimes fire twice before they can even react. And somewhere out there, a German sniper is realizing too late that the next crack he hears won't be a warning. It will be the last sound he ever hears. June 18, 1944. The outskirts of Saint-Eloi. The night burns low and uneasy. Artillery thumps in the distance, dull and methodical, while flares rise and die over the hedgerows like brief, dying stars. Every few minutes, a machine gun chatters somewhere far off, probing the darkness. But the snipers remain quiet. That silence is not peace. It is calculation. In a shallow slit trench dug beneath the roots of an apple tree, Oberleutnant Ernst Vogel lies on his stomach, face pressed into damp earth. He has moved forward himself now. The reports are too serious to ignore. 2 confirmed sniper deaths in 24 hours, both taken without warning, both by weapons that fired faster than expected. Vogel is a professional. 32 confirmed kills on the Eastern Front. He does not underestimate enemies, especially not after Russia taught him what arrogance costs. Beside him rests his carabiner 98, fitted with a Zeiss scope he trusts more than most men. He has chosen his position carefully, interlocking branches, deep shadow, a narrow fire lane down a sunken road Americans must use at first light. He waits. At 510 hours, boots scrape softly on dirt. American infantry advance in cautious pairs, moving the way they've learned to move since D-Day. Slow, low, deliberate. Vogel tracks them calmly. He ignores the riflemen. He waits for leadership. Then he sees the scope. Not on a helmet. Not raised recklessly. Low. Offset. Just visible when the American shifts slightly to get a better angle. Vogel's pulse quickens. There it is. The American sniper is not hiding far back, as doctrine suggests. He is forward. Close enough to cover the platoon, far enough to dominate the ground. Vogel adjusts his sight picture. He knows he has one chance. He exhales and squeezes. The shot is perfect, or should have been. The round snaps through leaves and dirt, tearing through the fabric of the American's poncho, missing flesh by inches. Vogel cycles the bolt, already shifting, already fading. The Garand answers. One shot. Then another. The second comes before Vogel's body has fully reacted to the first sound. The impact is devastating. The round strikes just below his left eye, killing him instantly. He never fires again. The American sniper, Staff Sergeant Harold Bennett, rolls aside immediately, heart pounding but movements controlled. Training takes over. He relocates without waiting for confirmation. He does not look back. Behind him, the platoon surges forward. For the first time, the Americans advance without fear of unseen eyes. By mid-morning, German sniper activity in the Saint-Tello sector collapses. Not entirely, but enough to matter. Survivors pull back. Others switch to observation roles only. A few abandon scoped rifles altogether, reverting to standard infantry positions. The psychological balance has shifted. German snipers had ruled the space between the hedgerows through intimidation as much as skill. They made Americans crawl, hesitate, freeze. Now the Germans hesitate. Messages move up the chain of command. Field reports mention American optical rifles, rapid accurate fire, and unexpected counter-sniper effectiveness. One battalion commander writes bluntly, "Enemy now possesses marksmen equal in ability. Losses unacceptable." Behind the lines, American officers take notice. The M1C program, quiet, experimental, undersupplied, is suddenly in demand. Scoped rifles are reassigned, protected, and prioritized. Men like Bennett are pulled from rifle squads and given singular tasks. Hunt the hunters. In a shell-pocked village outside Marigny, Bennett cleans his rifle as dusk falls. His hands move automatically. He does not speak about Vogel. He does not boast. But he understands something now. German snipers are no longer untouchable. That night, German infantry dig in deeper than usual. Periscopes are used less. Helmets are removed. Cigarettes are hidden. Orders circulate. No unnecessary movement. Avoid silhouetting. Do not engage unless certain. It is the language of men who know they are being watched. Because somewhere in the hedgerows an American is watching back, through glass, through shadow, through fear. And this time the first shot will not be a warning. It will be an ending. June 25, 1944. Hill 192, south of Saint-Tello. Dawn comes slow and gray, the kind of light that turns every shadow into a possible enemy. Hill 192 dominates the surrounding countryside. Fields, hedgerows, sunken roads. Whoever holds it can see everything. Whoever loses it is blind. The Germans know this. So do the Americans. For days, German snipers have bled advancing units here. Not many shots. Just enough. A lieutenant in the morning. A radio operator at noon. A medic at dusk. Death delivered with restraint and precision. But this morning, the Americans are ready. Staff Sergeant Harold Bennett crawls into position before first light, accompanied by a single spotter, Private James Collins, a former deer hunter from Pennsylvania with eyes trained to notice what doesn't belong. They settle into a shallow depression scraped into the chalky soil, netting draped carefully, breathing time to the wind. Below them, Hill 192 waits. Across the slope, hidden in the ruins of a stone wall, Unteroffizier Friedrich Keller, one of the last experienced German snipers in the sector, peers through his scope. He has heard the rumors. 2 men killed without warning. Another struck while relocating. American rifles that answer too fast. He does not believe rumors. Only proof. Keller sees movement near the crest, an American officer crouched low, map in hand. A tempting target. Too tempting. He hesitates. That hesitation saves the officer's life and ends Keller's. Collins stiffens. "There," he whispers. "Stone wall, 3rd gap from the left, shadow just blinked." Bennett does not rush. He eases the M1C onto its bipod substitute, sandbags packed into a canvas roll. The scope settles. The world narrows. He sees it now. A helmet rim. A cheek pressed to wood. A man who has killed many and expects to kill again. The German shifts, committing to the shot. Bennett fires. 1 round. No follow-up. No confirmation shot. The bullet strikes Keller through the temple, snapping his head back against the stone. The rifle slips from his hands and clatters softly, almost politely, against the wall. Below, German infantry wait for a shot that never comes. Minutes pass. Then more. The officer crosses the crest safely. Radios crackle. Orders move forward. Hill 192 begins to fall. By afternoon, American flags flutter near the summit. The hedgerows below are quiet, not from exhaustion but from understanding. German snipers have learned the truth. The Americans are no longer clumsy riflemen, advancing by weight of numbers. They have eyes now, patience, and rifles that can end a life before the echo fades. Bennett packs his scope and slides back down the hill, unseen. No one cheers. No one even knows his name beyond a handful of men. That is how it is supposed to be. Weeks later, German sniper schools update their instructions. Avoid engaging American marksmen. Displace immediately after any shot. Assume enemy optical rifles are present. Too late. Across France, then Belgium, then into Germany itself, the lesson follows the Wehrmacht home. The mockery is gone. The laughter in the hedgerows has been replaced by fear. Because in Normandy, in the summer of 1944, German snipers learned something they never expected to learn. That one well-placed American shot could end the game forever.